It's your boy AG Cornerman Boxing. I have the pleasure and honor today with Mr. Mike Bazzel, Cutman, to world-renowned Cutman, I should say, to many of today's top fighters. Thank you for your time. So how you feeling today?
I feel great.
So I mean, you're back in New York City, big event tonight. Who will be helping out tonight?
Tonight will be Bruce Carrington, Shushu,
Right.
and Jahai Tucker.
Right.
I've worked with both of them in the past. I'll be wrapping their hands and working their fights tonight. It's not a big. I don't have a lot of fighters tonight.
Right. I mean, cause usually we see you running around with like 4 or 5 different fighters, maybe more. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes with Top Rank, me and Stitch Duran, we have House Cutman. I can work up to 8, 9, 10 fights.
Wow. How is that? How's the pressure? Because some of these fights are so big, man.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Do you feel any pressure working?
No.
Nothing?
No.
I
love it. I love it. I feel that. I mean, there's adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
You have to control it, I guess. Just like I'm not fighting, but there is that adrenaline rush. I mean, I can catch myself in the first round. If there's a cut or something, I catch my hands doing a little of this. But then I just say, oh, okay, cool, this goes away. But sometimes I feel it, just like anybody else would,
Right. It is a little.
You want to do it. I want to be the guy in the ring. I want to be the guy that helps. I want to be the guy that addresses the injury. I want it. So
right.
It's part of the game.
It's amazing. You guys are so important, man. I just feel like the public should know how important the role you guys play. But
it's tough for the public because it depends on who broadcasts the fights.
Right.
Normally they don't show the corner, but not just Cutman, even cornerman work. Your cornerman boxing,
right.
Your channel.
Yes,
cornerman work is so key to a fight. You hear I'm privileged. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm so privileged to work with not just great fighters, but great corners, cornermen, head coaches, assistant trainer, people that work day in and day out with the fighters, and I'm watching them. How do you get a guy or a woman out of a tough situation? How do you pull them out? I'm watching these guys do that, and it's based on their relationship with the fighter, that day in, day out, week in, week out, year in, year out, fight and by fight relationship.
Right.
So I get to witness that.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
I'm sure you've learned so much, man, being around these guys.
So much, and I provide a role, a skill set,
right?
To help assist the fighter and the corner.
Right.
I'm also assisting the corner. We're a pit crew, and sometimes we don't know them. Maybe the first time I've worked with them.
Right.
With that fighter, or even with the corner. So myself, Stitch, Mike Rodriguez, Aaron Navarro. My goodness, there's a lot of guys. That these are just top of my head that work with different fighters a lot, and
right.
You have to apply that.
Right.
That skill set, not just the skills of our trade. Right, but also the skills of working with individuals, working with different inspectors in different states, different doctors in different states.
Wow, right. Different commissions, everything.
Everything.
Right.
It's a whole different thing. Everywhere you go, different countries, it's all different.
Yeah, many people don't understand boxing is really a team sport. While it's just one fighter in the ring, it's a team sport, and you're only as good as your team.
Absolutely.
So, what I mean? Now, what got you started in this?
I was a strength trainer. That's my
strength trainer
for my thing that I got involved with athletes, and then it just kind of primarily went into boxers, and the guys want you to come to the fights. You spend weeks with them training every day
in the gym,
and they want you to come. What am I going to do? I mean, I put the bucket and stool in for a long time.
Right.
Right. And then it got to be where we had a situation in an MMA fight where we had a Cutman, hand wrapper. I didn't do any of those skills, and he was working with our guy, and then he couldn't. He was wrapping another person. We were walking out. He couldn't come. I'm like, what the hell, man? You're going out. He says, hey, I'll meet you out there. I said, that don't work. So I had a crash course with another cut woman. She actually works with Kung Lee, Jane and Estioko, and she helped me. And she gave me a crash course, no medicine or anything, just gauze, little swell, it was warm, direct pressure, boom. Nothing happened because our guy knocked the guy out. But after that, I decided to learn.
Wow.
And it just was a 2007.
Wow.
It's been a journey ever since.
And this has just happened naturally. You never.
Yeah, it
envisioned
just kind of happened, and then during the pandemic, it was, I was working as a cutman more and more and more, and then in the pandemic, everything shut down. Everything. Our gym shut down. I have a gym with my partner Bruno Escalante. Our gym shut down. Boxing shut down. My strength training programs shut down.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh man, what do I do? And then about 3 months, Top Rank called, and they were like, "Hey, we want to put together a bubble like the NBA."
Right. I remember.
And we're going to go with ESPN and 2 shows a week, but you're going to have to sequester yourself in Vegas and at the MGM Grand.
Wow.
Are you going to be tested every week? Are you willing to do that? And I said, I am ready, willing, and able.
Oh man.
Sign me up. I'll fly tomorrow. Let's go.
Absolutely.
So that's what happened, and it's been my blessing ever since.
Right.
But it's a situation where I couldn't. You're in it now.
Right.
There's no. Just that crazy.
That's amazing. Now, Coach, where were you based out of?
The Bay Area.
Okay.
Bay
San
Area.
Francisco. Okay, nice.
Yeah. So San Mateo's where our gym is, and been up there for a long time. But I'm rarely there.
Right. Now, one of the most notable fights for me, at least, is when Sergey Derevchenko had that big cut in his eye.
When he fought Triple G.
Yeah, when he fought Triple G here at the Garden.
That was a big night.
You pulled off a miracle, man, like closing that cut, and he was able to go 12 rounds. You know what I mean?
And Sergey, I'd worked with him several fights before. He had a lot of old scar tissue.
Wow.
And, that fight being competitive, a lot of people felt he won or
Yeah, a lot of
draw,
people said that.
but that fight being competitive, me working with Andre Rozier, Gary Stark, Sergey Korchinski,
Right.
working with that team in past fights, working on his face before with swelling, cuts, and everything. It all was a recipe for success in a really hot situation.
For real.
Right? So Sergey, I give him a lot of credit, because if you have a fighter that's not winning and they're getting beaten every round,
Right.
and they're getting more cuts, more injuries, you can keep them in the fight, you can clean them up, but the injuries just get worse as the fight progresses.
Absolutely.
It's different when it's a competitive fight. The adrenaline is there, the energy is there. When the fighter's face is red, and you can tell when a fighter's the neck muscles can start to weaken, they can't hold their head
Wow.
up, they start laying on the ropes, they're getting pummeled. That's when sometimes I might not be in the best situation to keep the fighter going. And that's up to the corner too, and also the referee, doctors, they all step in a lot.
That's amazing.
But those are factors in the fight.
Yeah.
Those are all factors.
Absolutely.
You gotta be, I myself have to be on point. It's not enough to just have the skill set, but you also have to apply the skill set
Right.
based on practice. So, and I gotta want to do it. It's a wanting. You gotta do it.
You gotta love
Then
it.
you have the fighter that's in it, that he wants to win. He wants to compete. He wants to win.
Absolutely. We got Coach Larry Wade in the back.
Oh, this guy.
I just had to jump in on the gym.
Absolutely,
This guy
Coach.
here.
You're one of our favorites as well.
See, this guy
We love
here,
Coach
this
Larry
is
Wade.
where I came from. This guy's a legend
I
right
just
here.
had to harass him. I know
It's
you
all
did
right.
that.
It's all right. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But what was one of your craziest experience that you can remember where it was like, man, this situation is a little hot right now, and is there anyone that stands out specific?
Well, gosh, in the very first, the most hot, the ones that in my mind are the ones that happens in the first round of a 12-round fight.
Wow.
It's one thing, because people, MMA, for example, I worked a lot of MMA fights learning the trade too. But they're 3 rounds, 5 rounds.
True.
So usually they're cut in the first round, wounded, bruised, but you have 2-minute rounds, minute breaks to work on it. Sometimes, 3 or 4.
Right.
Boxing, it's 12 rounds, 10
Yeah,
rounds.
yeah.
Woo, it's a lot of minutes. You gotta, and especially when it happens early in the fight, that's when it's hot. That's when it's like, oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's on.
Right, because every
Oh.
time they come back to the corner,
Oh,
it's
you know,
like...
and it's a long fight now. So now wounds can get worse. You got to make sure, they just got hit. It's only been 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes in the first round. Boom! Or elbow or butt. And whoa, it's open now or it's shut. Oh,
It's
here we
crazy.
go. Those situations are always hot. Those are the ones Patufo Diaz against Navarrete. Navarrete's, I've worked against him 3 times with Joey Gonzalez. That's another big wound, swelling cuts that we had to deal with.
Wow.
You know, those guys, I mean, he's a great fighter, powerful puncher, pinpoint puncher. You know, when he wounds a fighter, he goes for it. He goes for that injury. And we're facing him, we're trying to keep our fighters in the game. And those fights were all competitive, so I always go back to the competitive fights.
Right.
When you have a good fighter with you, great fighter, and they're in the fight, you want to keep them. You don't want them to lose based on cut or swelling. You want them to be able to compete, and they're in it, so they don't care that they're cut.
Right.
You know, a lot of guys love it.
They have the adrenaline going, so they don't even feel it
George
sometimes.
Cambosis, you know, he loves that. He loves the pictures when he's like this and blood down his
that was
face.
a war with Telfimo
Yeah,
too.
you know, he loves it. You know, I'm sure Teofimo, you know, he bleeding, but it's like they love that. They love it. Teofimo, he's like, I don't care, right? I worked with him when he beat Lomachenko, and
Wow.
you know, I was on his swelling from round 2. First round he wasn't touched.
Right.
I was surprised, nothing. And then, but I stayed on it because he does swell, and then I feel, a lot of us feel. That's the real issue. You stay on that swelling, that prevents the cutting earlier.
Right,
like
right.
Teofimo cut in the last round, but I would like to say, hey, that's because we did preventative with the swelling in the fight.
That's a very interesting point.
So if you don't do that, if you just let the swelling go and you don't address it, I'm not to say that, you know, one elbow, a butt, or a punch can shut an eyeball. It can shut the eye. But if you stay on that swelling, you see the swelling start. If you stay on that preventative, you know, the skin is, you reduce the swelling, the blood flow, you reduce it, boom, you reduce it. Then you have a better chance of staying on top of it.
Wow.
It can still get out of control, but you're trying to, again, prevent it, right? I'm trying to stay on top of everything.
That's very knowledgeable. Thank you for that information, Coach. Now, is there any guys you like to learn from, or from the past, you know?
Oh yeah, sure. Rafael, I mean, you know, we talk about him a lot. You know, all the guys, even now, you know, Rudy Hernandez and Stitch Duran, and
Right.
those guys all teach me. Little by little, you know, Stitch is a friend, and he'll give me advice, and you know, with Mike Rodriguez and Aaron Navarro, we all share little knowledge with each other, and you know, we share little things, and I share with others too. You know, coming up, it was a very profession that's like closed mouth.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that.
You ain't looking at it because they don't want to lose their job. But I'm looking at it more of, I have other skills in this boxing, strength training with Larry Wade. You know,
Right.
I love that. You know, I love what he does, and that's what I do. And, you know, the Cutman thing. Sometimes I feel like, don't hire me so I can go to the gym and start training fighters. You know what I mean? It's like, shit,
But you're in high demand, Coach. They love
it's
you.
like enough already, right? So I'm not worried about. I want to give. There's a saying I have a jacket. I don't wear it here because we have our own jackets for ESPN and Top Rank. But
Right.
I have it. It's the Cutman Mechanic. Mechanic is a name given to me by ESPN and Chris Algieri.
Wow.
It was I'm a mechanic, fighter mechanic. I do many things with a fighter, not just one thing, many things. So it's like a
Right.
mechanic for a car.
Wow.
So as a Cutman mechanic, as I'm better when I move in the back. That's something I got from a movie a long time ago, Butch Cassidy's and his kid. And then on the side, I'll always do what's in the best interest of my fighter. Herb Stone, that was our manager when we were all coming up, and he passed away. But his advice rings in my ears every day.
Absolutely.
But I'll always do what's in the best interest of my fighter.
Right.
And that's what he always said.
Right.
And that's what I try to say.
And that's why your career is going the way it is, Coach. You know,
I
it's
might
amazing.
work with you. I might work with your opponent next fight. But I'm always going to do when I'm working with you, I'm always going to do what's in the best interest for you. If I work with them, I'll always do what's in the best interest for them.
Right.
I'm not, you know, that's a very unspoken code among all of us, I feel,
Right.
in the Cutman business or the Cutman industry. I don't know what you would call it. It's really a self-made profession. It's not you know, it only exists because of the fighter.
Right.
My profession only exists because the fighters fight. So I never want to do anything to hurt the fighter. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I need them.
Right.
Or I don't exist.
No, and you're highly professional about it with just the way you just described that, you know. Now, Coach, is there any advice you have for a young cutman, you know, that might be looking up to you or other guys, you know, want to have some advice you could just share for them?
When you watch the best you can, you go to live fights, so that's wonderful. You get close, you can watch the fights, watch the corners. Sometimes you can pick things up, but sometimes you can't. But always just ask and always apply your trade in the gym.
Right.
If it's bruising, work on that direct pressure. Have some inswell, have some ice. Work on that practice.
Right.
See what happens when you do it. Even in the gym setting where you don't have that 60-second, 50-second, 60-second clock, but you can still apply it and see how that face reacts to that swelling, to that nosebleeds. Oh my gosh, tough one there, you know. But apply yourself, practice, see the different things, you know, different noses. Some guys are busted up, you know. Go back to George Kambosos, you know, he's never broken his nose.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a fighter. He's like, it reminded me of Rocky Balboa. Remember Rocky? He's like, never broke my nose. He's like, what? You know, he broke his nose. When Apollo Creed, the first fight, he breaks his nose. You know,
right.
But it's like, yeah, George, he never broke his nose.
Oh wow, that's
so it's like, you know, man, it's like, wow. So it's like one of those things where practice hand wrapping. Get your gauze and tape. Practice wrap everybody. Every day.
Just repetition. Keep showing up and keep working on it. Absolutely. Now, Coach, for those that may not know, where can we follow you?
It's my Instagram is Bazzel Strength, Bazzel Strength, all one word, low cap, whatever. And then just on your programs,
Cornerman Boxing, yes,
boxing,
sir.
things like that. If you guys interview me, sometimes you follow that.
Absolutely.
But that's pretty much. I just have like an Instagram account.
Okay, yeah, because guys may want to reach out to you even more now. You know what I mean?
You know, and the reason I had a Facebook, but I misfollowed family on it. I wasn't very good at that, and then the guys kept saying, "Coach, I tagged you on Instagram. I tagged you. Did you get it?" And I go, "No, I don't. What are you talking about?" So then I got it. And I'm like, I don't see it. And then that little icon at the end, you know, where you hit it and it's like, oh man, everyone's tagged me.
Yeah.
Shit. I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, wow, now I know what they're talking about.
Right.
I had no idea.
Absolutely. Coach, any final shout outs you want to give to anybody?
Oh man, Top Rank, you know, ESPN, watch the fight tonight. I can't, you know, it's exciting. We're excited. You know,
absolutely.
Every time. I learn something new in every single fight, in every single show. How can I know everything if I learn something new every time out?
That's amazing. Well, there you guys have it. Coach Mike Bazzel, it's been an honor. Thank you so much for all your knowledge and wisdom. We wish you the best tonight and for the rest of your career as well.
Thank you.
Thank you and God bless you. Thank you.